Suspect in the murder of Sheryl Turner, who was erased and found in the Ouachita River in January, has been arrested. Anthony Pierce Holland Jr., age 29, of West Monroe, is charged with second-degree murder and booked into the Ouachita Parish Jail, where he is now being held without bond. Turner's body was discovered by a hunter in the Ouachita River in Catahoula Parish on January 24th and identified later via a DNA. Turner was last seen by her family on December 31st. She sent a text message to her twin sister stating that she had met someone in Ouachita Parish and was going to move there. Sheryl also sent a text message to the family friend stating that she had made it to West Monroe and that she would talk to them soon. According to court documents, detectives learned that Holland made contact with the victim on January 1st and picked her up from her mother's residence in a black 2023 Toyota Corolla. Holland then returned to Ouachita Parish with the victim. Phone records show that the victim's phone stopped transmitting on January 2nd at around 11:26 p.m. The Catahoula Parish Sheriff's Office learned that the victim's phone was connected to Wi-Fi near Holland's home on Trenton Street in West Monroe. During the investigation, Holland's vehicle was seen on a traffic camera in the area near the location where the body was found 4 days before the discovery of her body. According to court documents, medical examiners confirmed that the duration of the time in which the remains were in the river was consistent with the time frame when Holland's vehicle was seen on the traffic cameras. Catahoula Parish Sheriff's Office detectives conducted a joint investigation with West Monroe Police Department, Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Holland was arrested Tuesday and confessed to what took place. Autopsy report indicated that the victim was allegedly assaulted by Holland and her neck was broken. Authorities have stated that after his arrest, Holland allegedly admitted to picking the victim up in New Iberia and stated that he brought the victim to his home where they planned to engage in a relationship. Although Holland gave multiple different statements, he admitted that he caused the injuries to the victim. Holland also allegedly admitted that he erased the victim inside of his apartment during one of the acts. After Holland realized the victim was no longer breathing, he allegedly got rid of the victim with a large weapon. My condolences to the family. It seems like I'm saying this more and more each week. Again, we have another woman who decided that the ice was colder, that the grass was greener on the other side, and she found out the hard way. She let her family and her friends know where her location was, what it is that she was going to be doing, which is moving and formulating a relationship with this guy, of which, in a sense, it just seems like she just met. She just randomly started, chatting it up with this dude. And then she decided, hey, I'm going to mosey on along and just move in with this guy, or just, start some type of physical relationship with him. Again, a person that I just met, don't even know. And we're going to see where it goes. Obviously, it didn't go anywhere but the grave. This is about the second, if not third or fourth or whatever time at this moment that we have had another black woman deciding that she wanted to do whatever it is that she wanted to do, and this is the end result. I'm still trying to figure out how hard and how difficult is it for black women to finally, start to pay attention to the writing that is directly on the wall. You are literally listening to and hearing and watching stories of your sisters deciding to go elsewhere and they're perishing. Now, what I normally get on this channel is that people want to state that, oh, well, the same thing can be said for, black men in the black community. Just I know a lot of women, directly. Matter of fact, let's just go to a few comments, shall we? So let's go to a blast from the past, and this is Sadie Robinson. She disappeared with a guy who ended up having a dungeon, swings, whips, and chains, and all of that type of stuff that Jack Harlow talks about in his music, right? And she inevitably faced the exact same fate as the woman that you just heard of. So this one person said, more black men are erasing black women than Caucasian men. A black woman gets erased by a black man every 3 to 4 hours. Watch Viral Crimes and Twisted Crimes, and I know women in real life that have been erased by black men, including women in my family.
Another one.
Another one said, "Don't even. There are plenty of dangerous black males. I don't even call them men anymore, but only those are usually violent. So let's not go racial, please."
Another one.
Another one said, "Do you have any idea how rare it is for a Caucasian man to do this to a black woman? However, more Caucasian women are erased by black males than black men are erased by police."
Another one.
Another one said, "Maybe men need to not be so insecure. They don't lose their minds when they find out the person they are attracted to turns out to have parts they weren't expecting. Seems like bro has some self-inspection to be doing instead of erasing and blank a poor woman he was apparently trying to have relations with." So, with the images that you see directly in front of you, some from the now and some from the past, a lot that people want to tend to forget, like Mike Oliver, who's going all over, or was at a moment in time going all across Africa and deciding that he wanted to use biological weaponry in order to get after the African women. Then this exact same thing happened in the United States, where you had Jason Roger Pope, who did the exact same thing and stated that he had 600 plus bodies. And he was stating all of these things and how it was that he did all of these things with black women and how easy it was directly for him to do this. On top of the fact that he also took pictures with celebrities as well, too. And then you have another picture, right? You have Ronald Lee Kidwell, who decided that he wanted to do technically the exact same thing. And you had a woman that ended up losing her life. So, my main point is that at any point in time, I happen to see women show up and they want to list all of these stats. They want to say, but look at what you guys are doing. You're deflecting. You're not paying attention to what the specific issue is. You're not staying directly on task. If you're stating that you actually love and care about black women, that's fine. Then actually stay focused and directly on the task and make sure that you try to save the lives of your quote unquote sisters instead of trying to deflect and get away from what the story or what the actual information is. I've seen this for far too long, for far too many years on a multitude of videos that I've covered directly on 2 to 3 platforms. And it's the same thing time and time and time again. People want to sit up there and bring up black men. Black men have nothing to do with these stories. Black men, I'm going to say again, black men have nothing to do with these stories. There is a common occurrence within all of these pictures, two, as a matter of fact. And again, none of which has zero to do with black men. I actually have way more than this, but I just wanted to put these few directly up here because I want this to be a reminder. Because oddly enough, like I said before, people tend not to pay attention. People don't want to listen. They'll, hear about a minute or two directly out of the story. And then that's pretty much where a lot of people want to cut off. And then they just want to start writing comments. And 9 times out of 10, there are black women that are here, that are listening, that refuse to actually hear and listen. If you want to bring up your relationship as a variable just to try to state that, oh, this is not what happens, look at me, la, 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 that's great. That's wonderful. But that's also a slight jab directly at your sisters who did not have the greatest of luck as you. Right. And that goes right back into what I've stated before about how it is that black women state that they supposedly care about one another. But when it comes to situations like this, it's a lot of deflection. You don't hear the sisterhood talking about we're going to make T-shirts. We're going to make hashtags, right? We're going to let it be known what took place and what happened. We're going to speak out directly for you. That's not what you see directly on social media, or at least that's not what I'm seeing directly when I watch Twitter. When I'm looking on IG, when I look at a lot of these videos, that's not what I'm seeing. Because the moment in time that this takes place and the roles are reversed, magically everybody's up in arms. Magically everybody cares. Magically it's a problem. But when it deals with the quote unquote ideal or the comfortability within that, magically nobody knows what to say. It's stepping on eggshells. Nobody really wants to try to push any buttons or cause a ruckus or any type of problems, because magically when you start complaining, people are going to view you differently. They might even, chances are, try to brand you as masculine, as being mouthy, as being aggressive. So in order to stay back out of that whole branding, a lot of them opt not to speak up or to pipe up on a lot of these issues and these problems. They tend to actually stay quiet. So that means that the only time that they really want to speak on the loss of life when it deals with Black women is only when it solely deals with the quote unquote statistics, which has to do with crime within proximity, which means that you will have Black men and Black women in some type of altercation, and it may or may not end up in the loss of life. Magically, then and only then, that's when people from all over want to pipe up and start chiming in and want to really start going in on Black men. But the moment in time in stories like this, magically that energy is lacking. It's waning. It's looking real faulty, real shaky. It's pretty interesting. But like I said, have at it. Go out there and list the usual statistics like you want to say, and list the usual things. Oh, I know women and I know people in my family. I know coworkers. I've seen stories. I've read stories. I've lived through it and barely escaped my go right ahead and list all of that, while making sure that you put a shield up for this, to make sure that you protect this, to make sure that you keep this covered and you sweep it directly under the rug. Go right ahead. Let the world know how little you actually care about yourself in general by deflecting and deciding to talk about something else.